everyone. This is my presentation on softball as my microculture. Here I have a image of a softball on fire and a softball team holding a softball in the middle along with writings on their arm, whether it's inspirational or something that means something personal to them or the individual. My introduction. There are three main reasons why I think softball can be considered a microculture and why they have such a big influence on things like communication, behavior, and real life lessons. I feel like all those things are a big part in any kind of sport slash team kind of situation. Some of the characteristics I think goes with softball is also individualism, horizontal individualism, and low uncertainty avoidance. These are some behavioral patterns that I've seen in softball players and being one in the past. These are definitely characteristics that I think are related in softball and play a big part. Why? We have individualism here. They are taught to be competitive and have distinctive talent, which is something I feel like in every sport you need to kind of be competitive and have some kind of talent, whether it's just general knowledge of the sport that you play or talent in that specific sport and training for it and wanting to be the best of the best. Horizontal individualism. I feel like that's a big one. Being able to be a part of a team and seeing everyone as one, but knowing that you are no better than anyone else. I feel like that's kind of like a life lesson kind of thing. I feel like no one, whether in a sport or out of sport, is better or higher on a standard than anybody. So that plays a, big part in their personal lesson that you get as being in a team and stuff like that. But it also helps a lot to never see yourself or anybody as above you and just be on one team. You're on one family. Low uncertainty avoidance. This sport specific has no certainty. It's very hard to plan, though it's not impossible. It's hard to be 100% ready for anything. Anything can go wrong. A ball can, just follow your hand wrong. Anything can just go left or right in a split second. You would need all these cultural characteristics to be good in a team and a team player. To have a good understanding of the game, you have low uncertainty avoidance to be always ready for whatever might come and be able to have a good bond and trust with your teammates. You might also need to see everybody as equals. If you don't see everybody as equals, there's never going to be a trust or bond because there's always going to be some kind of tension because everybody can feel, when you feel like you're better. You go team high-fiving after probably a good play, good inning, whatever it might be, after a good game, but everybody's, we got a hand back here, hand here, hand here, hand here. Everybody's going to high-five their own teammates for doing whatever they did good, and it's a good, representation of team bonding, kind of, if, you kind of think a little deeper into it. We also have some interesting and relevant facts about softball. Some of these facts are pretty relevant to be able to, while you're trying to learn about it prior to playing or during playing these sports, you need to know things like the information about equipment, knowledge of the game, and equipment along with the rules. You know what your equipment does for you, how it protects you, how it might not. 5 major things I feel that comes to my head automatically is you need to wear cleats, not sneakers. There are 2 kinds. There's ones that are metal and ones that is plastic. In some levels of playing softball, metal cleats are actually illegal. They're too dangerous. There's been a lot of instances where, where people have gotten injured from being, sliding at a base and somebody's cleat catching their ankle and stuff like that. I've personally seen a few of those. I've personally had some of those. Another one is catchers need to wear a minimum of 4 pieces of protection, which is face slash helmet gear. You have your chest guard and one leg guard each. Um, you can add accessories to all of these, like the helmet, the face guard. You can add like a chin guard. It kind of hangs there on the bottom of your helmet. You can also add shoulder guards on your chest guard, so your shoulders are more protected. And on your leg guards, you can actually add these paddings that go on right behind of your shins, which help slash get a bad habit of just leaning on those and um, becoming dependent on those, which is not so good in the long run, but it's good for beginners to get the idea. Um, when playing a certain position on the field, there are different kinds of gloves, like outfielder gloves, infielder gloves, first base, third base, shortstop, catcher, pitcher. They're all different, actually. They all each have different webbings, pockets, sizes, width, lengths for each of these positions. Like you can see in the top right corner, I have the catcher's glove, which is wider, has less of a little pocket here, and more padding right here and right here within the thumb and the pinky area. And this is compared to a first baseman's glove, where you can see the webbing is bigger. It's a little bit taller and less wider, with a lot less padding within these two areas, because you're supposed to catch it within this netting. With the more padding and less netting, it's easier to be able to maneuver. Catchers have to have a quick response for catching and throwing at second base to get a runner out or whatever the case may be. So it's a lot easier to deal with these than these, especially with the speed. With the faster the ball comes, more padding you need, and so that's kind of why the catchers have more padding than the first basemen's. And they're taller because most of the time first basemen are taller on the taller range. Not all the time, but most of the time. Some rules people don't understand or know about the sport is that when you can steal a base at any time before the ball gets within the pitcher's white circle. For example, if a catcher can throw the ball to the pitcher after a pitch, and someone can steal the base as long as the runner left before the pitcher catches the ball. So if the catcher released the ball and the runner left the base to be able to steal, that is 100% legal. The ball was not in the white circle yet, which then becomes out of bounds, kind of. That the play stops. It's kind of like a reset button. Whenever the ball goes into the pitcher's circle, that's kind of why everybody rushes to get it in there. Get the thing restarted. A lot of people don't understand the rules of stealing a base. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of safety rules. There's a lot of, you might have to tag the runner this time but not that time, and it's a lot of different aspects to it. One last rule is fake bunting. As long as you put up the bat prior to the ball reaching the batter's box, it won't be considered a strike unless it is in the strike area. So when you have a bunt showing, to be able to easily hit the ball, kind of put it in between the pitcher and catcher, if you feel like it wasn't a good pitch, you need to lift that bat back onto your shoulder, or else the coach or can argue that your wrists were broken in a sense, kind of pointing out that you did swing for it, kind of thing. On this bottom right, you can also see a metal cleat. These right here are metal. They make a lot of, I believe a lot of softball players like that noise on concrete. It's very softball, kind of having to learn to love noise. And my conclusion, I personally have played softball, as I said previously, and I've noticed a lot of these characteristics that I've explained today while playing on all the teams that I have. Some of the rules, the game can be interesting and a lot, but it also makes the game so much more fun. The difference between all the equipment I told you about today is more dangerous, like metal versus plastic, along with the type of gear you wear. It can go a lot more into detail with the type of gear, along with the rules with the game. I try to explain in a little less detail. I can go on about it, talking about it. Um, if anybody has any other questions about whether the rules or equipment or whatever it might be, I'd love to address them, and I hope everybody enjoys. Thank you.